Hey y'all, it's Richard from WeldItYourselfKits.com. Let's build a Lotus today. So you've got your kit. Go ahead and unwrap everything. Now starting in 2025, we have been pre-treating all of our kits to remove as much of the plasma cutting dross on the back as possible. Unfortunately, that process does end up with a little bit of flash rust. So we treat all of the metal with a rust preventative. Ironically, it also is going to leave a surface that looks like rust. We'll take this one away and I'll show you can just wash that up. Otherwise, set your parts in a little container, soak them in vinegar, and we'll just leave these here for a little while for all of that vinegar to dissolve any of the flash rust and our rust preventative. Now, if you didn't want to mess with vinegar, you can just come over to a sink, and with any abrasive, I'm using superfine steel wool here, you can just wash this up, and you'll see real quickly that the areas you've washed come clean. The areas that haven't yet been still have this surface coating, but it's a coating. It's not actually integral to the metal, so don't worry about it. The rust preventative we use is non-toxic. There's no fumes, there's no nothing. You can even weld right through it. It's effectively just a soapy layer with a small wax component that stops these from rusting further as they sit on the shelf waiting for you guys to order one. Same thing front and back. These two have been sitting in vinegar. You can see as soon as you take it out, they're gonna start flash rusting. Don't worry about it. This is the one that I just cleaned off by hand. Effects pretty similar. We're gonna use this guy. We're gonna start by breaking this apart. It's like an old model kit. Just use some tin snips. If your tin snips are no good or you don't have any, you can use a grinder with a cutoff wheel, but it's much slower. You'll have this little circular piece. Trim off the little T that's holding it on. That T is garbage. The rest of it I'm going to use. So what we have here are our 6 pieces. We've got 3 pedal sets. They're all one smaller than the next, but very similar, so just compare them. We have our stamens. We have room in the kit to provide you with both, so we do. You've got one piece where they're all fairly uniform, one where they're a little bit more running wild. Your personal preference. I like the uniform ones more, so we're going to put these to the side. And then we have this little circle, which is going to form our seed pod, and it's where we're going to start. Right here with that sitting on the table, grab your stem. I'm using 3/16, which is what I suggest. 1/4 inch will also work. This is a 12-inch stem. You can use whatever you want for the vase you're going to display this in. Or because it's a Lotus, and you may just want to display it flat, you're only going to end up using like 1 inch of this. So you can cut it off when you're done, but keep it long to start with. It makes it much easier to work with. As far as equipment, I'm wearing a 100% cotton fire resistant shirt. You could be wearing a welding jacket. You do need to be protected. I've got a heavy glove on my left hand where I'll be holding pieces, and I'm going to run no glove with my right hand. You can use a lighter glove or even a heavy one if that's all you have. Just wear PPE to your level of comfort and skill. These kits are 20 gauge, which is 032. We're going to go just a little bit hotter than that because we're going to be welding to the stem in most cases. I'm going with 0.45 inch thickness. This is a synergic machine, so it's going to adjust everything else for me. But you can see that's 130 inches a minute. This is 0.35 welding wire. If you're using thinner wire, that's going to be more like 175, 180. And we're running at 16.2 volts, which I'm actually going to step up to 16.5. Start out with our little circle welded to our stem. Just a couple tacks on there. This is going to start the seed pod of the Lotus. If you know they've got that little cone-shaped piece, this gives you that look. Now we start with our stamens. I'm going to set this down on the table. And I'm gonna go with the circle about halfway up the stamens and just tack that into place. Like so. And our extra that was sticking off the end, we can snip off. Same for the other side, we're not gonna need that. Now, just roll that around the lotus. You'll get about 2 turns, 1.5 to 2 turns on it. And we're gonna tack that into place where it ends. A little bit of an ugly tack, but it's not gonna matter. So there's our look. I'm gonna bend all of the stamens out, away. Like that. Then just using pliers, I'm gonna curl all these guys back in. This is one of the ones where you get to make each piece custom to how you want it to look. And we'll have a chance later on to kind of clean these up and make them more circular. But right now I'm just going to start us kind of with that look. Now you've got your 3 petal pieces. Like this, large, medium, small. Take the smallest one, which has the fattest petals on it, put that to the side. We'll start with the medium-sized piece. Straight down our stem. We're working upside down here. Just hold that in place. Give it a good tack on either side. Repeat with the larger petals, offsetting them about 1/3 of the way. Couple more tacks. Now finally the bottom set of petals, bridging the gap there so you have kind of an even distribution around the edges. This bottom piece, that weld is going to be visible, so I like to fill it in pretty much all the way. Now we're going to come over to a bench vise. I'm getting rid of my glove at this point. We're going to heat everything up. This is the easiest place to adjust all these little stamens however you'd like them. Now we're going to move on to the petals, one by one, heating them up. You could also form these cold by hand if you wanted to, before you welded everything into place, but this gives you a much more uniform look. You'll see that I'm not taking everything to glowing hot red. You don't need to go that far. You'll get a deep blue to the heat, and that's about where you want to be when you go to bend everything. Now when you get to the bottommost petals, I like a very wide open look to the flower like this. You can of course cup these up as much as you'd like to. You can see we've got some texture to this. That's going to be any surface imperfections that were on the steel, any flash rust, any differential heating. If you want to, you can heat all of this up to pretty close to a glowing red to smooth that surface finish out. All right, with everything hot, we're gonna cool this down. All right, that's still hot. All right, so I did that water dunk just to show you that doing so will cause some of this surface bluing to flake off, and you'll get this interesting texture. If you like that, great. If you don't do a water dunk. Just let everything cool down naturally. See some more of that texture there. If you do this and decide you don't like it, you can come back over, heat everything up, and go through that bluing process again. That's from the heat. You'll see here we're pretty blue. We've got some differential color in here. If you very carefully control your heat and keep it cooler than this, you can actually get a yellow or straw look to it. I like where we're at right here. If you wanted to take this all the way back down to like a bare metal, the silvery color that we have on these guys, you can soak this back in acid again, and that will strip all that blue off, give you that gray look one more time. And with a micro torch like this benzomatic one, you can heat up individual parts of the flower to get different colors. There's many different options to it, and that's what makes it fun, because each one comes out totally different. And cooled down, we're gonna wanna protect this because it will rust. I am a big fan of the Minwax clear lacquer. They make it in satin, semi-gloss, and gloss. That's your choice. Semi-gloss or satin normally look better to me. Trick here is many light coats. We're not trying to build up a dripping amount of lacquer. At this point, we can still make some adjustments to our flower if something's not exactly the way you want. We'll just let that dry. If your lacquer gets foamy or turns white, it means the pieces you're putting it on were too hot. So you're gonna have to cool it back down and start over again with your lacquering process. Alright y'all, thanks for your order or your interest in these kits. You can check them out at weldityourselfkits.com. If you have your own plasma table, we do have the download files to make your own. Also, weldityourselfkits.com. Thanks for stopping by.